Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, and this is Taking Care of Business. Joining me today is Executive Director of Operations at the Canadian Energy Centre, Mike Simpson. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Well, some very important data was released today in a research paper by the Centre, looking at the oil and gas sector's contribution to the Canadian economy. Tell me, Mike, what were some of the key findings from this report?
Yeah, you bet. So if you recall, a couple of weeks ago, we spoke about the impact of oil and gas on Atlantic Canada. And the national one, this is our sort of the end of the series. We did Atlantic, Ontario, BC, and now this is the national one. And what's important to take away is the significant impact that this industry has on the national economy. We looked at the 2017 numbers. That's the latest data that you can get your hands on from Statistics Canada. I think they've just maybe are preparing to release 2018 data. But what we've come across is that the oil and gas sector alone totaled $128 billion. And this is in direct and indirect GDP. And this is in 2017, which is a down year. And there's also impact on supply chains of 241 billion. And what I think is most significant is 611,000 plus jobs associated directly and indirectly with this sector.
Yeah. So when we look at the overall thing, I think that's one of the things that people, I guess, don't understand, right? Is that, they think, okay, Alberta benefits, I think Newfoundland and the offshore benefits, but it's right across the board, the benefits that this industry brings to Canada.
It is. And I mean, it's really hard, I think, for some folks to really understand how directly it impacts them. When we're talking about jobs, especially, like we're talking about transportation, repair, construction, and even in that, as we talk about the supply chain, we put out, when we talked about our Ontario piece a few weeks ago, we talked about the impact just on Ontario in the supply chain. And it's hard for people, I think, to understand that even when you think about your food costs, we're talking about agriculture and the amount of energy that's used, especially from the natural gas perspective, to bring that energy or bring that food to your table, no matter where you live, is important. And the impact across the country is just incredible. I mean, we're talking 128 billion of the GDP. That's a significant part of your economy. And for Western Canada, it's obviously extremely important. But for the rest of the country, especially Ontario and Montreal, I mean, it's really impressive, especially transportation, right?
Yeah, and it's the jobs that are obviously important to a lot of people, right? And that's the key, right? If you want to, I guess, improve the job situation in Canada, you can look at this industry and how many jobs it produces.
You're right, and to sort of reiterate a point is that this was 2017 data, and if you recall, 2014 was a good year, but then we started trending downwards. In 2017, I don't even think we were at the lowest point, but this is in a low point for the industry, and it still had this significant impact. I mean, if you look at just the sort of indirect support in the value chain, I think we have 33,400 jobs in like architectural engineering, 23,000 in machinery, equipment, supplies, sort of in that supply chain, 13,000, almost 14,000 in computer system design. So think about computer system design. Where is a lot of that tech center? A lot of it's in Vancouver. Like that's a big impact in that area. And those are just some of the smaller ones. You truck transportation is almost 10,000 jobs. And so those are things that I don't think a lot of people really think about, is that significant contribution to their daily lives.
Yeah, exactly. What's next for you guys? What are you coming out with next?
Oh, we're going to have, in a couple of weeks, we're going to put out what we like to call the top 75. And so we're going to put out a roundup of the year of all of this data and sort of show this impact across from the year of what we've shown of how important this industry is to the lives of Canadians. And That'll be coming out here in I think a week or so. And we'll have a few other little pieces to come, but I think that's the most significant one. A nice roundup just to show that this industry is really important, and this discussion about, you know, we need to transition away, we need to shut down oil and gas in Canada, really is a dangerous position to take, considering the impact on the economy.
Yeah, all over the place. Yeah, thanks a lot, Mike, for joining us today.
No problem. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
All right, that was Mike Simpson, who is Executive Director of Operations at the Canadian Energy Centre, based here in Calgary. This has been Taking Care of Business. I'm Mario Toneguzzi. Thanks for joining us today.